Namaskar. Hello and welcome to this very special commemoration in the year 2025. Today is 9th of January, and this was the very day when Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi, who later got prominence to become the Mahatma Gandhi and father of the Indian modern nation, he returned from South Africa after a stint of around 25 long years. He went to South Africa as a suited, booted barrister in the year 1893 और मई 1893 के महीने में मोहनदास द यंग बैरिस्टर फ्रॉम द इनर टेम्पल इंग्लैंड जब वो जाते हैं तो he chose to travel first class. He went on a legal case and he said that all are equal. He was all inspired from that British ethos, and he had no idea that as to how a native British and expat from a third world country like India would be treated, and racism was at its peak. Even in South Africa, it was also a colony of the Great Britain for that matter. सो 7 जून 1893 की रात को फर्स्ट क्लास के डब्बे से पीटर मैरिट्सबर्ग का एक स्टेशन है प्रेटोरिया के रास्ते में, तो वहाँ पर मोहनदास द बैरिस्टर उनको उतार दिया जाता है बेइज्जत करके, और वहाँ से उदय होता है एक पैसिव रेजिस्टेंस, एक सत्याग्रह का आंदोलन। और जो कि 25 साल के बाद 1893 के बाद गांधी जी he took that insult at a different level. He did not wept or wailed, but then his resolve got so very strong somewhere or the other कि उन्होंने कहीं ना कहीं ठान लिया था कि इस तरह का जो ये बर्ताव मेरे साथ हुआ है, यह जिस तरह का ये जो अपार्थीड हो रहा है, I would rise against that. And that single man rose, and he became quite instrumental in wiping out the जो कहते थे कि यूनियन जैक पूरे विश्व में वो झंडा कभी उतरता नहीं था बिकॉज ऑफ द मल्टीपल टाइम जोन्स, एंड इट वाज दिस वन मैन्स रिजॉल्व which got instrumental in getting in 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 ending up that wave of colonialism. So आज का ये दिन न केवल भारतीय स्वाधीनता संग्राम के लिए महत्वपूर्ण रहा। 2015 में भारत सरकार ने महात्मा गांधी के भारत लौटने पर एक डाक टिकट जारी किया, 100 years ऑफ हिज रिटर्न। तो 2025 में अगर हम देखें तो ये 110वां साल है जब महात्मा गांधी वहां से लौट कर आए। और एनी हिस्टोरिकल इवेंट इज रिप्लीट with a lot of connotations, with a lot of messaging for the contemporary world. इतिहास का केवल इतना ही महत्व है कि हम वर्तमान में उस इतिहास से सीख कर, उससे प्रेरित होकर अपने उज्जवल भविष्य का निर्माण कैसे कर सकें। तो आज जैसा कि हम लोग जान रहे हैं, पूरे विश्व में एक अलग प्रकार का तांडव मचा हुआ है। आज भारत के पूर्वी छोर पर भुवनेश्वर में प्रवासी भारतीय दिवस का आयोजन किया गया सन 2023 से 9 जनवरी, जो कि वाजपेयी सरकार ने एक निर्णय लिया, रिसर्जेंट इंडिया बॉन्ड्स भी किए। उन्होंने कहा कि जो अप्रवासी भारतीय हैं, द नॉन रेसिडेंट इंडियंस, उनको प्रवासी कहा कि भाई जल में बसे कुमोदनी और चंदा बसे आकाश, जो जाही का भावता सो ताही के पास। तो दिल में तो हिंदुस्तान है ही। तो एक राष्ट्र प्रेम की, राष्ट्र भाव की जो प्रेरणा है उसको उद्भासित करते हुए 1991 का वैश्विक जो आर्थिक संकट भारत ने झेला वो तो सबको पता ही था। तो उसी सोच में कि देयर इज अ फिगर एंड दैट इज कोटेड ऑल अक्रॉस की द रेमिटेंसेस व्हाट वी गेट, द 129 बिलियन डॉलर्स एनुअली which India gets remittances as a part of its डायस्पोरा, जो लार्जर डायस्पोरा है जिसमें एनआरआईज भी हैं, जिसमें पीपल ऑफ इंडियन ओरिजिन भी हैं। देयर इज अ लॉट ऑफ टेक्निकल क्वालिफिकेशन आउट देयर। तो वो लोग भारत में रेमिटेंसेस करते हैं, और कहीं ना कहीं भारत का जो करंट अकाउंट डेफिसिट है इट गेट्स फिनेंस्ड विद दैट। पर एक दूसरा आंकड़ा जो अगर आप जेमिनाई, गूगल जेमिनाई या चैट जीपीटी किसी पे भी अगर लिखेंगे, तो एक बड़ा चौंका देने वाला आंकड़ा भी आता है कि द क्वांटम। और आज हमने रीथिंक इंडिया ने अपने सभी को प्रेषित भी किया कि द लगभग जितना अमाउंट एनआरआई रेमिटेंसेस के रूप में आता है, लगभग उतना ही हमारे हिंदुस्तानी बालक उच्च शिक्षा के लिए खर्च कर देते हैं। तो जितना आया, तो it just becomes balanced it out, and this happens despite the fact that in the last 25 years a phenomenal higher education ecosystem, a colossal higher education ecosystem has developed in the country, where we have around 1008 plus higher education institutions of immense repute, अलग अलग स्तरों पर हैं। There are central universities 45 के around, there are centrally financed technical institutions, the IITs, the IIMs, the NITs, the triple ITs, the host of those institutions लगभग 150 के करीब हैं वो। Then we have a deck of around 500 state private universities, which are perhaps driven by very enthusiastic, very energetic, and very committed edupreneurs, so as to say. And they are in the nook and cranny of the country, और जिस तरह से आप हमारे background पे you can watch it, that they lie in around 108 edu destinations of the country. India is flocked by the global audience to witness, to experience भारतीय भारतीय जो संस्कृति है। तो संस्कृति में ही शिक्षा जब सन्निहित होती है, तो उसका कहना ही क्या है। बट देन in the parliament in August, in the monsoon session, the parliament was informed that around 13 lakh Indian students they go abroad every year. That's the quantum of higher education students India is losing every year to foreign shores. तो जैसे कि मैंने पैसे के रूप में बताया, कि जो 13 लाख भारतवंशी बच्चे हैं जो कि केवल स्नातक स्तर की, इवन एट द यूजी लेवल, दे आर एस्पायरिंग टू गो अब्रॉड। अब अब्रॉड क्यों जा रहे हैं? लॉट ऑफ स्टडीज, लॉट ऑफ ह्यूरिस्टिक्स। द ऑनरेबल वाइस प्रेसिडेंट जगदीप धनखड़ साहब ने ये बात किसी एक सम्मेलन में भी कही कि आजकल एक फैशन सा बन गया है। सो बीइंग अ पॉलिटिशियन ही वाज रिडिक्यूल्ड एट, जाइब्ड एट, बट देन एक बहुत बड़ा क्वेश्चन आता है। इनफैक्ट बिफोर मूविंग फॉरवर्ड इन दिस कॉन्क्लेव, आई वुड लाइक टू इन्फॉर्म दैट fintech, the colossal UPI, which has become like making a digital payment is as simple as sending an email. That kind of a paradigm which India developed, the National Payments Corporation of India, एनपीसीआई के इंजीनियर्स ने इतनी बढ़िया प्लेटफॉर्म बनाया। एंड यू विल बी शॉक टू नो दैट इंडिया में जो मेजॉरिटी 90% प्लस द यूपीआई मार्केट, द यूपीआई ट्रांजेक्शन्स आर कंट्रोल्ड बाय फॉरेन कॉर्पोरेशंस। तो एक बहुत बड़ा मुद्दा क्वालिटी को लेकर कहा जाता है कि भाई हिंदुस्तानी विश्वविद्यालयों में क्वालिटी नहीं है। नाउ क्वालिटी अगेन, द मोमेंट वी कम ओवर देयर, quality is more of a state of a mind. It's a function of the propaganda which collective ecosystems try to bring about, rather than its parameterized and objective, I would say, discretion over there. So Rethink India on its own, it has taken up this onerous objective to project. It has taken that leap of faith that this seat of Vidya, India hosted the G20 summit just a year back. We have been vocal, and Bharatvanshis are really doing so very great all across the world, and very soon we would be having the 47 US president, and a lot of Indian Americans, they are really driving the American policy, but that's a different political debate over there. तो अगर हम देखें तो the entire context of quality, it has to be parameterized. That's why we said that let's take a leap of faith. It is the year 2025, and it is the 75th year of the Indian Republic, the modern Indian Republic, where we gave ourselves the lengthiest, the bulkiest, and the most elaborate constitution on the planet, for that matter. So let's identify India's global higher edu brands for the year 2025. One of the bigger things what we lack in India is somewhere lack of confidence. For example, our students are really doing well in all the global Fortune 500 companies. They're really driving things crazy, if I can use that slang out here. But somewhere or the other, we don't have a collective or a collaborative push over there. If you see the American university system, they have got billions of dollars of budget to project their collective image abroad. तो भारत में ऐसा नहीं है. वी आर स्टिल प्रेस फॉर फंड्स. वी हैव अराउंड 80 half of our population to feed on basic rations. We are still coming out from that colonial damage which was incurred upon us, which was inflicted upon us. A lot of fault lines which the global economic hitmen they try to wreck on India in the name of quality. दूसरा है कि because we have not been able to come out of that colonial thought process, तो whatever India, we don't take pride in that. हमको अपने में ही, because we have been an inward looking civilization. आप लोगों को अगर देखेंगे कि घर में even after securing quite substantive marks or accomplishments, हमारे माता पिता हमेशा, because ours has been a conservative society, कि भैया और अच्छा करना है तो ये बच्चा बिगड़ ना जाए. So they keep on saying, oh, no, 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 this is not good. So we always second guess ourselves. We are not that so very confident in our own self. So at times, either we get naturals, we brag a lot about it, but somewhere or the other, a central conversation does not get evoked. A cooperative, concerted campaign in a parameterized fashion. For example, in 2016, when India came up with its NIRF rankings, now this is one of the most elaborate, most data-driven, most transparent ranking framework. But somewhere or the other, there are a lot of foreign organizations, corporations for that matter. Their global business is to create rankings. In fact, many of the developmental indices, they receive a lot of public commentary. So these rankings have to be double clicked and triple clicked as to on what parameters, on what data sets are they really projecting. This is number one, this is number two, this is number three, because this is a very tribal thought process, number one, number two, number three, because no assessment can be so very linear. NIRF has got 5 parameters and they very boldly, very bravely, the savants out there, it is a huge data driven engine. And despite that, our universities, they try to get entrapped into the direct or indirect mechanisms of these global rankings, because this is a kind of a marketing tool for student recruitment. So we are treating the thought ki why not bring about the lot of parameters around which any global higher edu brand can be ascertained, and let's have subjective commentaries around that, because you at the end of the day you objectify something based on a subjective framework itself. And today when we are on the age of AI, a lot of content can be summarized. So why not present in a standard framework? As you can see, I will just present to you as to how the frontiers of internationalization, how a brand can be a global brand. India used to be a global edu brand as a destination for that matter. We were the seat of higher education just 2000 years back, the Nalandas, the Takshashilas. But then we went into a dark age of around 2000 years, whereby our own indigenous systems, our own Indic paradigm, it somewhere got disturbed. It somewhere even got to the level of annihilation. Thanks to savants like Mahatma Gandhi, who had a global exposure, and they instilled that very faith in a common Indian. He did not wear his suit and boot, he just left them across. He just adopted the life of a common Bharatiya. He went crisscross the length and breadth of the country and he instilled that faith in that common person. Look, because apart from his political campaigns, his was more of a reconstruction program. So, lot many other freedom fighters that we see, India's history is full of expats who returned back. It's more of a Project Swadesh story. What is happening today is the high net worth individuals are losing the ship. They are dumping the Indian story. They are dumping the Indian ships and they are going abroad as if India has got nothing. A very celebrity couple who earned their, I would say, prominence and money on Indian people's time. They are entertainers and sports persons. And now they are, after having earned the moolah, they are going back as if they are going back to their motherlands, to greener pastures for that matter. So a lot of churning is perhaps required, and Rethink India has been convening it in the year 2016. The first eduINDIA eduINDIA summit was launched, and we said that Indian campuses have to tie up their brand with the destination in which they are located. If you see, it's a very lovely graphic. You can see all our states are so rangila. Rangila, Rajasthan, Gujarat, Maharashtra, Punjab. The regional variance is so very lovely at the state level and at the city level. Now, if we couple across our, like, who would not love a child in Chennai, would like to explore the Himalayas, and he would like to come to Dehradun for that matter. He would like to come to Nainital for that matter. Oh, I would study, I would do my 4 years of higher education overlooking the Himalayas. So maybe someone would like to go to Madhya Pradesh, the lovely jungles out there, the enormous heritage, Khajuraho, Bhopal, a lot of edu destinations, Andhra Pradesh for that matter. Every city has got its history. Every city has got its own culture, tradition, despite the hiccups, because it is all about projection. We are a billion plus nation democracy, not like China, whereby the gag orders can be put up. Any YouTuber, anyone can just go and find out a gap into the whole system. And today, we at Rethink India, we launched Mahatma Gandhi Creative Resistance Fellowships. We said, "Ki join the IAS," and this IAS is join the Indian activist service, not the Indian administrative service. Now, for activism, we don't need to go to the town square to do a dharna pradarshan, to burn out an effigy, nara bulan, jhanda bulan. We just need to go to the very lovely, one of the very finest portals, CP Grams, the PG portal, Public Grievance Portals. It is managed by the Department of Administrative Reforms. Create your own account. You will find it one of the best, globally best consoles over there for the matter. Choose your, and now they have got a lovely app. It's an AI driven app where you can do it in a very interactive fashion. And you can, कहीं पे आपका गड्ढा भरा हुआ नहीं है, कहीं पे पब्लिक यूरिनल स्टिंग कर रहा है, या कहीं पे पार्किंग का इशू है, फ्रॉम अ म्यूनिसिपल लेवल प्रॉब्लम टू अ स्टेट रीजनल लेवल इशू कि कहीं पानी की सप्लाई नहीं आ रही है, कहीं पे पुलिस ढंग से फंक्शन नहीं कर रही है, कहीं पे पर्यटन विभाग सोया हुआ है कुंभकर्णीय निद्रा में, एंड इवन एट द लेवल ऑफ भारत सरकार, द गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया, कि भाई आपका यूआईडीआई मेरा, मेरे बच्चे का, मेरे भाई का आधार नंबर नहीं बना रहा है, या किसी बैंक ने मेरे पैसे का गबन कर लिया है, या कोई टेलीकॉम कंपनी मुझे सिग्नल प्रोवाइड नहीं कर रही है, तो यू कैन सिंपली इन इंग्लिश, हिंदी, एनी 18 भारतीय भाषाज, 22 ऑफिशियल भाषाज, यू कैन जस्ट राइट इट अक्रॉस एंड विद इन नो टाइम, आई एम पुटिंग नो टाइम, दे हैव गॉट वेरी स्ट्रिक्ट TATs, turn around times, your grievance at the operational level would be sorted out. Now, this is the kind of activism which is perhaps required for, and the Honorable Prime Minister, in his Red Fort speech last year, at 50-minute around, so Prime Minister is adept in making long speeches. He loves to talk. His Man Ki Baat is very, very elaborate. And so he says at 50-minute that the youth have to come forward and identify the fault lines, the operational fault lines, or maybe the structural fault lines in the policy, and communicate with the government agencies so that we can find solutions for that. So what happens that any transformation of a nation of our continental complexity, 32 lakh square kilometers, your entire Europe, the diversity, whatever we have got, the languages, even with Bhashani coming to our rescue to talk in multi languages, we still have linguistic diversity. We have diversity of religion, faith, even in the colossal faith of Hindutva. The Mahakumbh is starting just 13th this Monday. We have got so many sampradayas for that matter. So it is important that the citizens bottoms up. So democracy doesn't stop at the electoral booth. It rather starts at that. The public, it's just a larger skeletal structure. But then we have to keep polling, 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 keep alerting, alerting, alerting. It's a two-way discourse over there. So becoming an Indian activist service member, every citizen has to become an IS for that matter. And we today launched in memory, in recognition of Mahatma Gandhi, because his instruments were so very simple. His instruments were so very, the charkha katna, those were the instruments of the old age satyagraha. And today's Satyagraha is going to the CP grams. Every state has got a CM helpline. They have got a fabulous app. Uttarakhand has got 1905. The Uttar Pradesh has got Rajasthan. Every state has got to interact with the chief minister, and thankfully CP grams is integrated with the almost all the CM portals over there, and then they in turn connect very strongly with the municipal issues also. So the spirit of Gandhi, we wanted to expound it over there कि can we take a leap of faith कि जो 13 लाख बच्चा बाहर जा रहा है, भारत जो कि विश्व गुरु की पदवी, इट इज नॉट जस्ट अबाउट इमोशनल सेंटिमेंटलिज्म और सुपरफिशियल चैटर. इंडियन संस्कृति, भारतीय सभ्यता और संस्कृति में शिक्षा के जो संस्कार हैं, आज अमेरिका में अगर आप देख रहे होंगे द वे द बिलियनियर एलन मस्क, द वे ही वाज सो पेन्ड at his personal story that he lost his elder son who got influenced by a different set of influences and changed his gender and things like that. So the world has gone mad somewhere or the other. We really need those enabling, and that is the whole purpose of education. Skills are dime a dozen. You can learn any skill, any field over there once you are nicely educated. And higher education principles, we really double click NEP and its foundational principles, the 22 aspirational principles what national education policy has given to us. And the NEP has really transcended to a global education policy. It has got a global manifestation for that matter. So India has always been a civilization which has said on one side, Anu Bhadra Krato Yantu Vishwataha, ki let noble thoughts come to us from all directions. But at the same time, like the vaccine Matri, we guys have exported the life-saving vaccines to the underdeveloped countries, to the developing countries, to our brethren all across the world, because Vasudhaiv Kutumbakam is not just a token symbol. We live it. And that is what the $129 billion which are coming back to India, it is because of those Shiksha Sanskaras which our expats have. They really care back home. There are a lot of criticisms of the growing apathy of the youngsters who are really going abroad and not looking back to their parents. It was painfully witnessed in the self-obituary of Vivek Debroida, whose birthday we would be commemorating on just 25th of January. Ki his sons, they were not by his side when he departed. He was painful for that matter, and it is the pain for a lot of these senior citizens, and a lot of advocacy is going that Ministry of External Affairs should have a clause in the NORI certificates which are issued by the Indian embassies globally, that they should incorporate the senior care obligation also, apart from the financial obligation for that matter. So भारतीय सभ्यता संस्कृति में जो शिक्षा है एक त्रयी है, सभ्यता, संस्कृति और शिक्षा. I think within this value framework, India really presents a very unique model. And what we have said in this India's global higher edu brands is that every institution has to leverage his or her comparative advantage. We are all competing on certain metrics given to us by some colonizers, some globally geostrategic global players who love to colonize others for their own prosperity. But India has been an inward looking civilization for that matter. And we have to really identify our own comparative advantages and then compete in our own category. I think if we are able to do this, India has no competition for that matter in the whole world. So Punjab does not have to compete with an Andhra. Punjab has got its own comparative advantages. Punjab has just the land of the 5 rivers, the cradle of civilization. Punjab has to just expound it. And like India, then Punjab, or for that matter, Gujarat, we all have to see our own comparative advantages and then the edu destination per se. So this entire edu India campaign is focused around 108 plus. श्री 108. भारत में 108 एक बहुत ही एक sacred number है. 108 माला के मन के. And it has got like the doyens like Professor Subhash Kak. They've talked about the astronomical imprints of these Indian quotients. Like we have quotients, golden numbers in mathematics, and also Indian spirituality, Indian knowledge traditions have got it all. So, as a part of this higher education campaign, we are inviting especially the state private universities, because they are the ones who have a lot of freedom, elbow room to innovate, to do a lot of autonomous work. And after that, and in other categories also, IITs are globally known for their UG programs for that matter. But we don't want to lose this 13 million, this 13 lakh students going abroad. Perhaps it should be brought down to one tenth of whatever are going today. So a marginal section is fine. So coming further, I would like to share what are those parameters onto which we would really like to present a kind of assessment, self-assessment for the student community at large, their parents, and most importantly, we would really like to bring in the schools, the K-12 schools for that matter, so that they can really, apart from the marketing exercise, apart from the big billboards and television serials, like just after the 12th board examinations, lot of marketing material would start coming in the form of advertisements. Now, advertisement is something which is one-sided. Advertising is just projecting my content. It is also a very fine means of communications, but then somewhere or the other, we have to get ourselves into kind of a framework, where the students can really compare the comparative advantages. Like, should I go to a Jaipur or should I go to a Bhubaneswar? So what happens, the youngsters at the age of adolescence, we are all 16, 17, 17 odd, 17, 18 years when we do our class 12th, and we are just on the verge of early youth. The teens are ending and we are entering into the youth. So a youthful freedom we all want to enjoy. So the youngsters actually want to choose a destination first and then the edu brand. Largely we see India has really been able to create a kind of a very decent baseline higher education ecosystem. And every passing year, each of these edu brands are really working so very hard. So so we have identified some 11 foundational, 6 financial, and 9 futuristic frontiers that make it an aspirational higher edu brand of India, a global higher edu brand of India. So, and the whole objective is to reclaim India's preeminent position as a global edu destinations. The Mark Twains and the Hyun Sangs, whatever we have been reading in history. So why not just 25,000 students who come to India to study on various ICCR scholarships and all. So why not, there should be a kind of a global competition. Oh, come study in India, study in one of the India's global higher edu brands, and somewhere or the other we have to juxtapose. A concerted campaign has to be done, which is self-initiated, and more such campaigns should be out there. Government is doing its own great good work, where Indian embassies are trying to impress upon the people of Indian origin. So we want to stall this mass exodus of students abroad, because these are our talent pool. Vivek Ramaswamy, who would be co-heading the DOGE, the Department of Governmental Efficiency, the Trump administration, he has gone. He is a second generation, like American Indian, Indian American, whatever is there. They have their own politics, they have their own understanding, but somewhere or the other, the genetic prominence of India and the power and prowess of Indian education system, the schooling system, the way we really, our teachers for that matter, we are so very thankful that they train us in STEM, because that is in our civilizational heritage. एस्ट्रोलॉजी के बिना, ज्योतिष के बिना भारतीय जीवन चलता ही नहीं. एंड ज्योतिष इज फाउंडेड ऑन फर्म फाउंडेशंस ऑफ मैथमेटिक्स. सो बिना वास्तुकला के, बिना वास्तुशास्त्र के भारतीय मंदिर, ग्राम, कुछ कार्य होता ही नहीं. सो सिमिलरली वी डू हैव दोज facets of science so very much into our genes for that matter. So ये जो parameters हैं, वो just so tuition fee and other costs which are involved in academic training, alongside provision of payments and installments, it's very important. So many of the futuristic facets which perhaps this framework would also compel our universities, especially the private ones who do have autonomous management, quick autonomous management, that they can work out with the banks. Okay, installments can be worked around, the fees is on the higher side. So these are some of the global flexibility which students really opt for largely. The cost of living, perhaps transparently making this cost of living, the students can make a quick answer. Oh, tuition fees is this, cost of living is this. Oh, this is going to be my overall cost. Then ease of getting an education loan. Not everyone is so well endowed. So is your program or university is bankable? Because in real estate, if you go, the builder has to have a tie-up. So bankability is something which ensures that you are in the running part. So this factor, it signals your prominence, it signals your aspiration to be a global brand. Global is, it has a lot of connotations, and in this framework we want to bring about the connotations what are required. Medicare. Now, for example, a student from Chennai comes to Dehradun. So he has to be assured that for some small things, do I have ample Medicare? So it needs to be highlighted. That's what we wish to do as a part of the compendium, the portfolios we will be creating as a part of this campaign. That what kind of a Medicare you have on campus, near campus, and if God forbid, even if something happens to, we have some tertiary care facilities. So Dehradun can say, oh, don't worry, boss. I have AIMS Rishikesh. So just don't worry. AIMS का नाम ही काफी है. So similarly, Jaipur can say so. Bhubaneswar can say so. Hyderabad can say so. So 108 edu destinations. Banasthali has its own comparative advantage. So we can go on and on. And there are certain frontiers like India में हम लोग higher education में we are all entirely dependent on our parents, but somewhere or the other from the point of view of employability and from the point of view of other chips, pocket money, what are the avenue for part-time school student work? Does the university opens कि आप लाइब्रेरी में काम करिए, आप कुछ project work कीजिए in the nearby vicinity? So we have to start thinking, because अगर भारतवर्ष को the kind of aspiration we have kept for ourselves in whatever terms, if India has to become a developed country by 2047, by whatever metrics, whatever dimensions, it can have multiple manifestations in multiple minds. We have to really experiment upon. We have to really start aspiring today, because if 20 years back, if the higher education ecosystem would not have been liberalized, perhaps we would not have become one of the largest higher education ecosystem in the country. And mind you, the quality is fairly well, just that we are not projecting it collectively. In our individual competitions, we are not collaborating against the global challenges, the global, I would say, Australia is competing with us, Canada is competing with us, American higher education system, because for them, these are markets, these are big dollar earnings for them. So, but somewhere or the other, our players have not come together, and Rethink India posits its humble services to this respect with a fervent nationalistic attitude and thought process that if we can really go in a collective fashion, we have something substantive to offer, and our comparative advantage is non-competitive. What in our own category, we have to really identify our comparative advantages. So the foundation scholarships or fellowships to students, Government of India is giving so many scholarships. It's just that the admissions department has to be more proactive and seek a lot of support from the Government of India indirectly. So a lot of funding is available for that matter. Then any institution, this is the baseline quality which is signaled by these 11 parameters, which are foundational frontiers anywhere you go, curriculum and teaching pedagogy. So you have to cross the basics, and that's what, but that is essential. It has to be there. Without that, there is no point in projecting or even aspiring to become a global higher edu brand. Then technology enabled learning, and now here we can really leverage. क्यों आप तो जी बनस्थली में बैठे हैं, आप तो एक बहुत ही इंटीरियर में इन सम प्लेस कॉल कटक है. कटक वी ऑल नो सुभाष चंद्र बोस. कटक, पर कटक अटक से कटक, भाई टेक्नोलॉजी है मेरे पास. आई हैव अ गीगाबिट पाइप and I have platforms like Coursera, or my Prabhas is out there, and I can really bring in the globally best talent through, I would say, video conferencing. I can have classes with that. COVID showed us it made online learning in a phenomenal fashion. So the content can be disseminated by the globally best brains. Even a Nobel laureate can be invited for that matter. We can ask them. KIIT in Bhubaneswar, it invites a host of such globally eminent people to add value to the classrooms. Practitioners sitting from the metros can really beam their experiences, and not for a cost, but for passion. बिकॉज भारतवर्ष में ज्ञान की साधना, ज्ञान को शेयर करना ही अपने आप में एक साधना मानी गई है. स्टिल वी आर नॉट सो वेरी कमर्शियल कि हम अपने ज्ञान को ना बांटे. सो टेक्नोलॉजी इनेबल्ड लर्निंग, हाउ वी कैन इनकॉर्पोरेट इट, इट मेक्स अस at once from a university sitting in Mathura or a university sitting in Manhattan. Technology has made it geo agnostic for the. It just needs that grit and that ambition, that aspiration. The state of the art infrastructure, I think Indian universities are some of the finest ones. Beautiful facades and architecture. And this is where our edupreneurs really sweat hard. कभी भी कहीं जाइए, अरे आपको कैंपस घुमाते हैं. The software होता रहेगा because it's a kind of a prestige. Because if you really put in so much of money in the hardware, software is bound to come. That's what the Indian thought process is all about. Well qualified faculty, a lot of mobility is happening, a lot of things, proper accreditation and affiliations from national to global, avenues for interdisciplinary. So we have crossed all the essential ones, so that you have to fill in at least the foundational frontiers and the financial frontiers well. The eclectic and deep industry linkages, and in this framework we have elaborated upon. In the world of future, it's not the Fortune 500 companies which would be employing the vast swathe of students for that matter. कि global Fortune 500 का हम बड़े बड़े billboards पे देखते हैं, but there is a huge market of MSMEs. Germany की जो MSMEs which are called Mittelstands, they are the movers and shakers of German economy. So अगर भारत को विकसित बनना है, तो each of our districts, the 672 odd districts, they all have to become powerhouses. At least the 108 edu destinations, they have very refined micro, small, medium enterprises. We have a huge public sector enterprise. We have got employment opportunities in our defense forces, in our paramilitary forces, and they need engineers, they need technocrats, they need people from higher education backgrounds which have professional qualifications. Somewhere or the other, the training and placement department, whatever we call it, TNP, they have to think beyond the box, beyond the Googles or Microsofts or Apples or these corporations, because with the advent of AI, even these companies, they are very silently checking out a huge chunk of employees on one pretext or the other. Apple recently chucked out some 150 odd Indians on the count of integrity. But then the issues are always in corporate politics, one or the other. So we have to prepare our students for a diverse range of careers, and then startups, empowering your own family-based MSME, the legacy of it, 20, 30 years of whatever your father, your grandfather have done, taking it to the next level, like the Gyani's ice cream in Delhi. Now that's a business. You see any product, we have to really look beyond our limited confines. And I think the universities have to really take on the plunge and open up the vistas. The parents are all very simple, hardworking people who have so much of love and affection, and they care for their children. But perhaps opening up the vistas, like the doyen, I would say the Vice Chancellor of Shulini University, Khosla, sir, Atul Khosla ji. So that kind of, he has his father to show that my father established the Shulini brand. And even after being an IIT Kanpur graduate and having all the avenues out there, I am taking this family enterprise of Shulini University to a different level. And they have created one of the finest online universities, one of the very few experiments, phenomenal experiments they have been working for the last 10 years. So this faith, when the founder, especially the state private universities, each of the founders have got a very inspirational story of the chancellor, Kuladhipati, and the Kulpati. In the Rethink India parlance, we say, let's drop the VICE word. It's not so very virtuous. So let's use our own civilizational motives like Kuladhipati and the Kulpati. If they can really instill that confidence about the eclectic and deep industry linkages, the R&D establishments for that matter. There are a lot of ICR laboratories, a lot of ICMR labs. Are we really talking with the local lab? Are we really creating our comparative advantage by seeking some project? Our professors at IIT Kharagpur used to say, "Bhaiya, kuch mil jaye, kaam pe lag jao." Even if it's a baseline prompting AI, making it learn some of the other motives. So Bajrang Wali ki itni badi power hamari universities mein hai. Why can't we lend it अरे हमको तो बस काम करने के लिए दे दीजिए जी, हम तो बस करके ले आएंगे। द यूनिवर्सिटीज हैव गॉट द फंड्स, द फैसिलिटी, नॉट एवरीथिंग नीड्स टू बी पेड, बिकॉज नॉलेज डज नॉट हैव दैट ट्रांजेक्शन। अगर लर्निंग में हमने स्वेटिंग कर ली, आई थिंक वी विल बी, सो दैट civilizational attitude we have to rediscover. The student and faculty exchange programs, both their vistas should open up. And here we say exchange does not mean that you have to get a visa for a different country. A student from Dehradun University can so well go. A DIT university can go to an SRM university down south. एक भारत श्रेष्ठ भारत के अंतर्गत, why can't our state private universities of different states, they can have leverages from northeast, from Arunachal, someone can come to Punjab for a 2 month kind of a student exchange. I think we are a continental entity by our own self. If Europe can take pride in being a France or a Denmark or a Norway, why can't we take pride in being a Punjab, being a Rajasthan, or being a Karnataka, or being a Tamil Nadu for that matter? And we also say that government interactions, I will come to that, then development of soft skills and interpersonal skills, not just the 5 language formula in the local language, in the regional language, in the national language and in the international language. अगर कोई उच्च शिक्षा संस्थान गुजरात में है तो गुजराती कैन बिकम अ गुड मीन्स, बिकॉज इसकी बहुत बड़ी प्रायिकता है कि उस बच्चे को वो जो जॉब है, वो जो कार्य का, जॉब डजंट मीन टू वर्क अंडर समवन, बट जो भी वो कार्य करेगा, अगर जियो कल्चरल लोकेल से जुड़ा रहेगा, तो पंजाबी बच्चा अगर गुजरात आके पढ़ना चाहता है तो वो थोड़ी सी गुजराती क्यों ना सीख ले, और गुजराती बच्चा अगर फॉर दैट मैटर उड़ीसा जाता है तो थोड़ी उड़िया सीख सकता है. सो दिस kind of work. Then research, innovation, and entrepreneurship again has to be looked at multiple levels. There are problems, local municipal level problems, at the government level, local industry level problems are there. हम देखते हैं कि बहुत ज़्यादा universities they outsource their functions to outside consultants, or but why can't we use the student force, like the Chitkara University does a lot of its work on the campus itself. उन्होंने बस, अरे लैब्स हैं, बच्चे हैं, टाइम है, प्रोफेसर है, क्या नहीं है, जरूरत तो केवल एक इंस्पिरेशन की है. ये वेबसाइट हम खुद की क्यों नहीं बना सकते? वाई कैन वी इंप्रूव अपॉन इट? हम ये ब्रोशर अपना खुद क्यों नहीं डिजाइन कर सकते? सो लॉट ऑफ रिसर्च, इनोवेशन, एंटरप्रेन्योरशिप, बिकॉज इंजीनियरिंग और टेक्नोलॉजी और फैशन, जर्नलिज्म, ये सारे जो काम है, दे अप्लाइड वंस, दे कैन बी डन ऑन द कैंपस इटसेल्फ. इसको हाईलाइट करना, बिकॉज दिस इज व्हाट मेक्स यू ग्लोबल. This is how Stanfords are born, this is how MITs are born, this is how Oxfords are born. आज हम सोचेंगे तो शायद 2047 में, when perhaps we would be doing the India's global higher edu brands 2047 in a row, तो आप देखेंगे when you will compare notes, we have really come a long, long, long way. So it's just the imagination, it's just our perception which has to be brought across. Now, Rethink India has added upon Navaratna, the 9 futuristic frontiers from a India's comparative advantage need perspective. So, institutional support for higher studies and commensurate entrance examination. बहुत सारे बच्चे यूजी प्रोग्राम के बाद सिविल सर्विसेज में जाना चाहते हैं, तो आर द यूनिवर्सिटीज प्रोवाइडिंग दैट? एसएसबी में बैठना, डिफेंस में जाना, कितना सा खर्चा लगता है? वी हैव टू जस्ट इमेजिन अबाउट इट रादर देन दे गोइंग आउटसाइड the university campus searching for it. So this makes you competitive. So if you are providing those very entrance or higher study services within the campus, it really helps. It really makes you a global higher edu brand. Then if you integrate the institutional prowess with the larger developmental programs and projects of local, state and central governments, a lot of money is coming through whatever taxation structures we have hit the 1.77, the 2 trillion a month, close to 2 trillion a month mark in GST collections. The debate is different, that Mukesh Ambani and local rickshawala are purchasing the Colgate toothpaste at the same price and giving and contributing equally to the national exchequer. That's a different politics, but this is the kind of potential 2 trillion a month. ये पैसा कितना भी आपका एब्जॉर्प्शन हो जाए पॉलिटिकल सिस्टम में, ब्यूरोक्रेटिक सिस्टम में, बट अ लॉट हैज टू कम डाउन फॉर डेवलपमेंटल प्रोग्राम. सो कैन द कैंपसेस link their techno managerial prowess to provide consultancy to the municipality, to the local developmental authority, to the state tourism department for that matter. So why not we create that? So this is the futuristic frontier which a global higher edu brand should aspire for. Because Niriho Nashnute Mahat says the Mahabharata. And the 10-volume magnum opus commentary of Vivek Debroy, his most seminal work, more than his contributions to economics, was his translation of Mahabharata. So the unaspiring doesn't achieve anything great. So one not at edu destinations, these institutions, one aspect or the other, the institutions can really take leverage. So if this can be projected to the students, you become a truly global higher edu brand. Why not? So institutional support for accelerating and re-engineering family enterprises of the students. I don't think any of the universities, they fill up a longish format, taking the background of the students per se, the economic background, what their father does, are they in some profession or something, and if they're in some enterprise, so can't a personalized learning. There's a lot of talk about personalized learning at the school level, K-12 level. But if a student has joined a mechanical engineering for that matter, and his father runs a lathe shop or any manufacturing facility, so can't using the Amazon 6-page amazing template, his business can be profiled, the opportunities of augmenting it, and around that business problem, can't his association, the relational aspect of his education go? I think this will make you a higher global edu brand for future. In the age when AI will be taking up, when online education is there, if the same rectification of the lecture delivery NPTEL is out there, where IIT lectures are there, Coursera's of the world are there, and one or two or three online universities, and then the regulatory, I would say, hurdle would have to be lowered down. So the comparative advantage, if the university can really provide that playground, these are the futuristic frontiers which would make you comparatively competitive in your own categories across. And then institutional inclination for formalizing the traditional knowledge systems scattered across the geocultural locale of their establishment. Itna heritage hai Bharat ka. Can we really leverage it? Can we have tourism cells? Sky's the limit. In fact, universities like MIT has, on the last count, it had incubated some 40,000 odd high tech enterprises, startups. So, around our traditional knowledge systems, we can think, we can incubate, because universities are the grounds of innovation. And innovation does not need to be copycat the Silicon Valley or the next flight to the Mars. We have to really come to our own locale and see कि भाई यहाँ से वहाँ तक, can we create a kind of a heritage walk? How can we design a Bhagalpur? How can we redo a Jaipur or a small locality of Jaipur, the Jagatpura in some vicinity or the other? So I think the avenues have to be expanded for that matter. Then obviously continuing professional development and upskilling avenues for professionals. How are you bringing the campus industry, government for training within, because you're using your own intellectual property. Then institutional interface and engagement with the various R&D organizations I mentioned earlier and agencies. Why can't we invite the DRDO scientists? They will be happy to discuss with the students the fundamental challenges they are facing. They might not be giving you the classified information. Never ask for it, because you will end up in trouble. But then why not invite them from the local vicinity, create contacts, and then slog over there? Because nations are not built up from lectures or bhashans. They will be built up by universities like you. So that is the core. Then one other interface is like backward integration with the K-12 learning ecosystem. Today our education system has got so compartmentalized कि आप 12वीं तक हो तो आप स्कूल में पढ़ रहे हो, उसके बाद आपको यूनिवर्सिटी जाना है. So why not the universities go back and try to create marketing के लिए principles generally don't allow, but if valued programs can be initiated, oh, we can allow our science teachers, first year science teachers can go and interface. We can run a faculty development program for the K-12 level faculty, kind of an exchange, because there is a whole continuum. So that makes you a global edu brand. Then international collaborations of all denominations. So not just the Quad, G4 or Quad, but even with Nepal, it's a neighboring country. Why can't we learn from them? Thailand, Myanmar. So 193 plus countries across. So having international collaborations, it adds up the India's soft power. Today, when Prime Minister was addressing and the whole global diaspora was accumulated in the land of Jagannath, Bhuvaneshwara, that showed India's global power, that even the presidential candidate needs the support of that small micro community of Indians, which is so very influential and powerful. So why can't we go all out? And then institutional cooperation with other institutions of their own genre across geographies where you don't have a competition. A Jaipur JECRC, why can't it tie up with a DIT or a Manav Rachna in Faridabad? Why can't it interface and engage with perhaps a Neotia University in Kolkata? So similar linkages of the same genre. IIT would not like, but IITs are collaborating with each other. That's a different stuff. But in our own category, 500 university, 500 C2, or 500 factorial. That's the kind of combination permutations we can really have out there. So with this, so this is the whole purport and purpose of this entire Edu India campaign. And here we wish on this Pravasi Bharatiya Diwas, we are inviting, and we are also setting up, as you can see, higher education counseling desk in the schools. Schools are also facing this problem that the students of 11th and 12th, they go out. They don't have any interest out there. But we say that let the agency of the formal educational institutions come back, because without formal educational institutions, they will remain the mainstream. The coachings, they can add upon something or the other. Platforms like us are also supplemental in nature. But the core ecosystem has to be championed by formal academia. So if there is a higher education counseling desk which is interdisciplinary, where faculty of sciences and faculty of commerce, so depending on the student's aptitude, right from class ninth onwards, they can start guiding them, they can start becoming career counselors, and then give key what these are your intrinsic capabilities and things like that. And at the time, they can suggest, if they have a compendium which is painstakingly produced by agencies like us, they can say, oh, you can go to this city, this is cheaper and the quality is fairly well. So decision matrix is becoming very complex. Everyone is so very informed, but then the implosion of information has actually brought about a glut of authentic and credible information, and information which is in a framework. Every advertisement will be differently classified. It's attracting me, but if we just create a kind of a framework and we try to bring about the other extreme is numbers, the rankings. Oh, you are this rated. That is very difficult to understand. You cannot parameterize, you cannot box a learning ecosystem, I would say, in some rank or in some number. It's so very difficult. It's a colonial approach. It's an age of the it's an approach of the old age. Today, everyone wants to be subjective. Everyone wants to assess. Oh, this is a salient feature for which I will go over there. I want to study space sciences. I want to see. So I will go to a place in Odisha so that I can see the prakshepan of from Sriharikota range or something like that. So that is what we wish to do as a part of this India's global higher influence, like the way Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi, Mahatma Gandhi, he somewhere in his heart, he had this resolve that मुझे भारत को स्वतंत्र कराना है. So I think each one of you, each one of, I would say, India's higher education institution has that potential, Tattvamasi, to really shine high. Because when each one of you will shine high, then only India will shine high. It is not a top-down approach. No Masiha, no prophet, no prime minister for that matter can really make it happen. It's a two-way approach. We need a leadership from the top to down, but then we need industriousness, imaginativeness from bottoms up. And we at Rethink India believe more in that Braj approach. Ki even Sri Krishna, when he lifted the Giriraj Govardhan, he gave all the credit to his Gwal Bals, that it is Kachu Makhan ko bal badhyo और कछु गोपन करी सहाय जाते गिरवर मैंने लियो उठाए. So projecting India as a global higher edu destination is a goal in the part of the larger vision and aspiration of Vikasit Bharat 2047, and until or unless our higher education campuses, because that's what boosts the economy. because the techno managerial skills, whatever we get, the problems we try to solve, the fundamental problems, perhaps we start giving the Nobel prizes from our own laboratories. At least we start aspiring for that, because geography is agnostic, and we are a civilization which takes pride in calling ourselves as Sanatan. So time again doesn't matter to us. So we just have to give our level best, and with this aspiration, I think we'll conclude this Pravasi Bharatiya Diwas conclave. And I would invite Dr. Surbi, who's our president, Rethink India Institute, who has been fervently interacting with the BITS Pilani in Rajasthan, to Sri Sri University in Bhubaneswar, to Shobhit University in Saharanpur, and Subharti in Meerut, the भारत का जो प्रथम स्वाधीनता संग्राम रहा. So she is someone who will really, I would really invite her to conclude this conclave, and it's kind of a curtain raiser. We just wanted to talk as to what we intend to do, what we aspire to do. So as a part of this campaign, we'll be publishing a baldi. This is a 42-pager plus form in itself. Once you will be filling it in, so it's like the all kind of accreditation kind of details. We are not very high on data, because data has been taken by the NBAs and the NACs, the NIRFs. The data is well out there. We want to create a very elaborate subjective commentary on these frontiers, and all the participating institutions would be clubbed in their own geography and genre. By genre, we say central universities, CFTIs. They have got their own genre. They have got their own funding level, their own faculty recruitment standards. So they CFTI and IIT Gandhinagar cannot be compared, I think, with a Marwadi university somewhere or the other. So deemed to be universities, some are private, some are government. So they will be in their own genre. State private university, they are privately funded. They are under a state act. So they can be compared, but then geography will come into place. So Jaipur is one of the largest destinations of higher education. So let me just show you the huge higher education, I would say, uh, um, concentration, whatever we have got in the country. And we are giving this challenge to one and all, ki come participate. And this is not a declaration. This is a declaration of aspiration. Oh yes, I take this leap of faith, एंड आई वॉन्ट टू बिकम रिप्रेजेंटेड. यहाँ वो क्लास में कहते हैं ना कि कौन मॉनिटर बनना चाहता है, हु हैज दैट एस्पिरेशन. स्किल्स हो या ना हो, हम थोड़ा आगे हों पीछे हों, पर जज्बा है कि नहीं है, वो महत्वपूर्ण है. सो लाइक इफ वी सी राजस्थान, ओ वाओ, अजमेर, अलवर. Alwar has got 3 private universities, and then we will be also having the state technical university affiliated institutions. They are a category in themselves. So nothing stops an Arya college of group of colleges in Kukas to come over here. So private university is one formulation, but then a lot of group of institutions are doing phenomenally well under the state technical university framework. So Bhilwara, Bikaner, Chittorgarh. Now Jaipur is wow. So Jaipur really should project collectively. So maybe this year we are doing it at national level, but then maybe in subsequent years we will be hosting uh, the city level directories also. Another dimension to the tourism of it all. कि भाई आप अगर जा रहे हैं जयपुर तो आमेर का किला तो देखिए ही देखिए, पर हमारी जी ये यूनिवर्सिटीज हैं, इनके अच्छे अच्छे कैंपसेस हैं. 500 रुपया का टिकट लगता है, और आप जाके जरूर देखिएगा कि व्हाट काइंड ऑफ एन एजुकेशन दे आर रियली इम्पार्टिंग. झुंझुनू, जोधपुर, कोटा, सीकर, टोंक. सो कहीं ना कहीं वी हैव टू स्टार्ट गिविंग अप आर लेमेंटिंग. ये खराब वो खराब, ठीक है, उसके लिए एक अलग खांचा बना लो, जैसे कॉपी में रफ वर्क है, बट ये अच्छा भी तो है, बिकॉज नो वेयर इट्स 100% गुड. सो द प्रोजेक्शन, द ग्लोबल हिटमैन विच आर वर्किंग, कि हिंदुस्तान की इमेज को गिरा दी जाए, वह नहीं हमको होने देना. तो उत्तर प्रदेश, जस्ट सी the cradle of Indian civilization, the land of Ganga and Yamuna. These are the kind of state private universities. So Rethink India is doing these kind of analysis across the genres of institution. We will be creating such slates ki these are the contenders. They can become, they have to come forward, they have to apply, they have to do it. Nainital, Pauri Garhwal, Roorkee. Now if you're in Pauri Garhwal, you're very close to Badrinath, Kedarnath. You can go to Rudraprayag for that matter. Dehradun is again the imperial, like all the institutions are out here. And we would be publishing a kind of an edu tourism guides for supplements to this campaign. That would be a part of this campaign. See Madhya Pradesh, Ajab Gajab Madhya Pradesh. So Madhya Pradesh Tourism Department, maybe some years down the line, the state tourism corporations would have to feature, apart from the tangible and intangible heritages, the educational institutions which are lying out there, because they really become वो जीवंत कैपिटल, जीवंत हमारी हेरिटेज को बताता है. हिमाचल प्रदेश, हमीरपुर, कांगड़ा, मंडी, शिमला, पूरे भारत का इतिहास, इट कम्स रेजिंग इन दीज हिमालयन पीक्स. Tamil Nadu, wow. So Tamil Nadu has a lot of deemed to be universities, and Anna University, the state ones, it has a socialist background. But yes, these are a host of edu destinations in the state. Andhra Pradesh and Telangana, we still consider them to be joint brothers despite their political, I would say, uh, bifurcation. So this is the way at the edu destination level, the state, the Sakhis of the country, the 8 states, the northeast ones. Why not go to Nagaland? Why not go to Sikkim? Why not go to Tripura? And friends, I tell you, we have to really develop that deeper spine. Students, oh, there might be some tension or turmoil, but the campuses are largely safe. And as a part of the campaign, we would be really also asking our participants that they interface closely with the civil administration. If a captain IPS, he comes and assures friends, nothing to worry, because media, the mainstream media and media which is fed on narratives, fed on negativity, it generally blows things out of proportion. Perhaps the reality is not like that. So I think I can go on and on. It's a very passionate campaign, and what a solemn day of launching this Edu India 2025 on Pravasi Bharatiya Diwas. Because प्रवासीयता को अब रिवर्स करने की आवश्यकता है. भारतवंशियों को घूमने घामने जाना है तो भी ठीक है. वो भी प्रधानमंत्री जी ने कहा कि पहले भारत के 15 से 25 डेस्टिनेशन तो देख लो. द इंडियन नेशनल टूरिज्म डे इज जस्ट राउंड द कॉर्नर ऑफ 25 जनवरी. फिर उसके बाद सोचना कि हम बाहर जाएंगे, क्योंकि जंगल भी हैं, समुद्र के बीचेस भी हैं, पर्वत भी हैं, एल्प्स से कहीं महान हमारे हिमालय हैं, तो नदियां हैं, डेजर्ट है. मिडिल ईस्ट दुबई क्यों जाना जब राजस्थान के और कच्छ का उत्सव चल रहा है. तो इंडिया हैज गॉट, और स्पिरिचुअलिटी है, एडवेंचर है. महाकुंभ में जाइए और खो जाइए. वो जो कहते हैं ना कि अपने में खो जाइए. सो आई थिंक नथिंग, आई थिंक द हायर एजुकेशन इकोसिस्टम ऑफ द कंट्री हैज टू कम टुगेदर. It has to join hands, and we have just come as a kind of a central thumb ki aiye, we can give you our thumb, just revolve around us, and our approach is just to be a humble coordinator, so that each one of you can come together and really take on this campaign in multitudinal fashions, in whatever imaginations you can do. And we have to, the core thing is we have to leverage our comparative advantages to become comparatively competitive. Over to Dr. Sidhu.
So thank you so much, Raghu, for illumining us all about the various, the frontiers which make truly certify our world-class, our Indian universities, which are imparting such, high-quality education. And this is something to bring that all to the forefront and, really celebrate our India's global higher edu brands 2025. So this is a clarion call, and it's an assertion that our Nalandas, our Takshashilas are no less, and it should not be an over assertion if we say that Bharat अपने विश्व गुरु के पद को जिस पे वो सदैव आसीन रहा है उसको reclaim करे. So reclaiming India as a global edu destination. So this is for the students who are going abroad for higher education to come back, to stay in India, to identify these global higher edu brands, study in our country, and of course for those who are even abroad to come back to the nation and study in our Indian universities.
And we would even like to invite the global youth of various nationalities कि कुछ दिन तो बिताओ भारत में, चखो यहाँ की शिक्षा, संस्कृति, सभ्यता. आई थिंक दिस इज अ लाइफ एनरिचिंग and life transformative civilization, despite its limited AQI concerns, traffic jams, hygiene standards. I think that is a work in progress. And but जो यहाँ की सिविलाइजेशनल खुशबू है, that is something which is unparalleled. So with this प्रवासी भारतीय दिवस, we really invite everyone like a गांधी कि आइए और भारतवर्ष को अपनाइए. At least 4 years stay for your UG program, for your foundational programs. There is a phenomenal higher education ecosystem across the nook and cranny of the country. We have got from the most foundational philosophical programs to the most futuristic programs in artificial intelligence, robotics, and things like that. And thanks, India is well connected. So, whatever is lacking, I think our universities would provide you a good console and a data pipe, and you can get connected over there. The core thing is the campus on which you are residing. I think that has to be that should energize your, because यही 4 साल हैं एक छात्र जीवन के अंत के, where you can really rejoice and relish. After that, it becomes a very, I would say, competitive and a tough life. So with this, we conclude this Pravasi Bharatiya Divas Conclave, inviting you all to really relish, and inviting all our campuses, participant campuses who are really very excited to be a part of this first of its kind initiative under a privately held banner. And we hope that we would be able to make some mark, measurable mark, कि perhaps our agencies, perhaps a couple of years down the line would say, अब 13 लाख बच्चे नहीं जाते जी, आप लोगों ने मिलकर जो प्रयास किया, so we have reduced it 1/3 or 1/5. So I think that with that